The Northern Lights are cooking over Northwest Arkansas. I am so pumped. I can't even tell you what an amazing show right now. Red pillars, green, you name it. We talked about it. We mentioned it in the newscast, posted it on social media. Unfortunately, Twitter is not working. But as far as what's happening, this is, by the way, Harrison. So this is not very far away. I sent out my weather crew. They're on the way to go to a high spot overlooking the city of Fayetteville and Fayetteville, and as well as the Springdale area. So, wow, what a treat! We mentioned how the solar storm, and you might be wondering what's going on. What does this mean? What's this going to cause? This is super exciting, though. We might even see some purplish hues coming up here pretty soon. A lot to talk about. This is pretty rare. It happens maybe twice or three times in a solar cycle. This is an auroral camera. This is basically a regular weather bug network camera from Gaither Mountain. I've got this recording. That is a look at the Northern Lights off in the distance. Let me take the camera off the screen. We'll check out some other cameras. I'll start pointing them to the north. And wow, what an incredible show there over a naked eye aurora over Arkansas. So let me go to some other cameras and see what we've got. Beautiful weather, too, to see this. So, yeah, you can kind of see a reddish aura hue. Let's go to Posey Mountain. I'll go ahead and turn that to the north. Holy smokeronies. Look at Posey. You ready for this? Wow. Holy smokes, that's amazing. That is sick, is right. So this is the Northern Lights over Northwest Arkansas, and I'm recording that one as well. And you can kind of see a similar view. Let's take Lincoln. Let's see if you can see it as far. Yep. Oh, wow. Look at Lincoln. This is incredible, folks. This is better. This is hands down better than May 10th of 2024. I'm telling you right now, this is actually pretty incredible. This is a strong solar storm. We're going to talk all about it. We just want to look at some cameras first before we do this. Look at Lincoln. Look at those red pillars. Look at what's causing that. Let's see if we can see it all the way from the river valley. Oh, absolutely. River valley, you can see it as well. Not quite as well, but naked eye aurora seen all the way there. Let's try Waldron. Let's look to the north from Waldron. Can't quite see it from Waldron. A little bit you can. But my goodness, that's insane. Let's get Rogers over Rogers. North view from Rogers. Yeah, you can see it from Rogers, but it's not quite as good, not quite as clear. That, folks, is spectacular. This is an incredible auroral display. Holy cow, that's amazing. Wow. You don't really need to worry about light pollution. This is the type of solar storm where you don't have to worry about that at all. This is incredible. Big time auroral display. All right, so what's causing this and why are we having the Northern Lights? Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to kind of step through this in the weather forecast tonight. Basically, all I could do is, I don't even want to put my camera on the screen because I'm covering up all these colors. That's a view from Lincoln, folks. That is no doubt a naked eye aurora. You should be able to see a slight faint hue off in the distance from Ozark, Cheryl. It's going to be kind of tough to see. It won't look like this. Let's go back to Posey again. Yeah, look at that. Wow, what a display. This will be the ultimate test. How bright is this? Let's look at Whitney Mountain Lodge. Let's point that north from Whitney Mountain Lodge. Wow. Yeah, you can see it even on Whitney Mountain Lodge. And I'm telling you, this camera is not good. Look at the greens and so you need to go right now. This is happening right now. There will probably be a continuation of the solar storm, but this is pretty incredible. But look at Whitney Mountain Lodge. You can still see that reddish hue off in the distance, and this camera doesn't have great night capabilities. So here is the river valley, by the way, our Kisser FM. You can see the reddish hue. That's what it's going to look like from the river valley. Okay, so let's talk about this. What is causing the northern lights right now? So there's our Gaither Mountain camera. We've got this recorded. We'll animate it. Incredible. So we do have fixed cameras, but I can also move the cameras and shift them. The only thing is I'm recording this as a time lapse, so I don't want to move it. But the other ones I can, like for instance, Posey Mountain, I can, but I'm recording that as well. All right, let's talk about this here. So first of all, nailed it, talked about it during the newscast, posted it on social media, said we might be able to see a solar storm. They were calling for that geomagnetic storm to be in the morning hours tomorrow, and I was like, I don't know about that. And then when I saw it was going BZ negative pretty quick, I was thinking we're about to see some stuff. And sure enough, we've been watching it the whole afternoon and evening. I've been posting on social media left and right. I doubt my stuff is seen because it seems like I'm always in Facebook jail, but that's a whole nother story. But we'll take a look here at what's going on and load up my show here and talk about it. Wow, what a show. That is incredible, folks. That's something you see in the northern latitudes, not necessarily the mid latitudes for sure. So I think that KP index is spiking quite a bit. All right, let's talk about what's causing the northern lights, and we'll bounce back and forth to the cameras multiple times. But this is what, first of all, this is my forecast that I made. Of course, the Space Weather Prediction Center was also talking about a G4 geomagnetic storm. And what fooled a lot of people on this is that they were saying that this would be essentially in the morning hours, or it would be on November 12th, which it is, but that's it's Z time. So you got to look at Z time, which is 5 hours ahead of us, and it's already midnight. So it's already November 12th, where they're predicting, essentially the times of this solar storm. So here is the auroral forecast. Now, keep in mind, we're not going to see the greens as much because it's not strong enough yet, but it could be, and it could become that. Let's take a look here at, first of all, this is the forecast that I put out for the next 3 days. So I think tomorrow and in the early morning hours tonight into tomorrow is going to be your severe geomagnetic storm. So that's known as a K index of 8. Right now we have a potential G4 geomagnetic storm because that looks a lot stronger than a G3 if you ask me. So a lot going on there. We'll take a look here at what causes this, and we're going to kind of dive into this and look at and all the stuff. The night photography on your phone is going to be amazing too, for sure. Long exposure photos are going to be incredible. So there's the essentially what's happening. And when we take a look, I said right here, this was the Northern Lights forecast, likely and possible on the horizon. Of course, you never know. You never know if the magnetic field is going to be pointing southward, but yeah, seen in Fayetteville for sure. Get out and check out the Northern Lights, folks. Incredible show right now. Okay, so it's right now. That what you're seeing right now is the time. We'll take a look at some other stuff, but here's what I want to do. I want to dive into this as we look at. I'm going to share this window here real quick, and we're going to take a look at this. So first of all, what is a solar storm? What causes it? What are the effects of it? That's why I'm going to show you here what we're looking at. So we're going to share. All right. So this is a look at a solar storm. Let me make sure I got the audio on here so we can hear this. So what you have, first of all, and I'm going to play this animation, but the sun has a magnetic field, and the magnetic field gets twisted, kind of like a slinky. So as that starts to spread out, yep. So that's what happened a couple of times. Now this is what happens when it comes into the Earth's magnetic field. So that's what happened, hit a couple hours ago. That is what's happening with the solar storm. And then the magnetic field snaps back. And that's what we have right now. So how does that all come into play? Well, here's a look at, first of all, sunspot 4274. Now, a sunspot is where this magnetic field is slowing down the gases. So essentially, they start to cool. And the reason that they cool is you have essentially that twisted magnetic field that's slowing down all of the gas of the sun. So this sunspot has been unleashing a lot of X-class solar flares. In fact, when we look at this and zoom in, you'll see 4274 has been crossing from left to right across the surface of the sun. When it is directed at the Earth, it's basically pointed right at us in the center. If you were to go meridional and the equator, that's exactly Earth directed. Now we'll take a look here at, first of all, when those explode, they create what are called solar flares. A solar flare is an explosion on the sun where that magnetic field gets twisted, and the release of that magnetic field when it snaps, as you saw on the video, creates a solar flare. Solar flares are basically C, M, and X class. C class are pretty weak, M class are stronger, X class are the strongest. Now, you'll see that X-class solar flares don't happen if you don't have a solar cycle. But here's what we had over the last 3 days. So you had November 9th in the early morning hours, an X-class solar flare, another solar flare, and then there's the solar flare that hit right there that caused it X5. So those are all explosions on the sun. Let's go back here. Enough of that talking for now. We'll get back to more of the discussion. But what I want to do is show you what's going on with some of our WeatherBug Network cameras because we don't want to miss that. Look at that solar activity. Man, is that awesome. We're going to go back to full screen. Oh, that is just amazing. So sometimes it gets stronger, sometimes it gets weaker. It does not affect the human body. It's not like the show Knowing, where people spontaneously combust. Let's go back to Whitney Mountain Lodge. Yeah, you can still see that reddish hue. Gaither Mountain, not quite as well because now the activity is a little bit farther to the west. So I can take the camera. I'm going to move that real quick. Wow, look at that. So I'm moving that camera over to get a view of that. It's a good question. What does a Huntsville camera look like? I've got two Huntsville cameras. I've got one at the airport. I'm going to preset that to the north view. And the Huntsville camera isn't showing up well, yeah, slight reddish hue. The middle school camera, oh man, yeah, you can definitely see it with the naked eye. We're in a G4 geomagnetic storm right now, and we'll talk more about that again. But here is Huntsville. There's the airport. That camera doesn't have as good of lux. Look at that. Wow. Yes, you can see it around. Just step out and you'll be able to see it. Here's a look at the Rogers Pinnacle camera. You can kind of see the reddish hue, but again, the light pollution is going to decrease that a lot. P Ridge. Let's take P Ridge and point it northward. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, see, this camera doesn't have as good of a quality in low light solutions. Yeah, you can see it from Rogers. You can see the reddish hue, but let's go back to some of the cameras that are, wow, look at that. Yeah.
How you can shoot this because it's not really showing up the camera.
It's not? Okay.
It's just too faint. I mean,
Is it? So can you do a long exposure?
not with these cameras. You can't.
Oh, you can't?
Even if not with the.
He's trying on his phone
JVC.
too.
Yeah. I mean, if I shoot it on my phone, you can actually see it.
Can you see it with the naked eye?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You can see with the naked eye. It's pretty faint, but you can definitely see it with the naked eye.
Yeah. It's really incredible on these cameras.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, just shoot some video. Just crank up the iris as much as you can, I guess.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing. I've just been cranking up the gain and iris as much as I can, see if I can catch a glimpse of it. But
Sounds good. All right, it looks like, yeah, we got a Leslie too that's backstage, so I'm going to bring her up here real quick. Stand by. Yeah, thanks, Aiden. Hey, Leslie, can you see anything right now?
Yes, hold on. It's very faint right now. It keeps pulsing in and out. But on the drive here, we were able to see like the pink hues and like you can sort of, I don't know if you can necessarily see. Hold on, let me fix my back camera. There's a little bit of a pink or hue out that way right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, if
Rotate your
you go
camera
outside,
sideways, horizontal, real quick.
if you go outside and with your phone and use night mode, you'll be able to see it a lot easier.
Yeah.
It's looking very weird for me. But I took some photos with night vision because, as I know, with night vision, the visibility will be a lot better with it.
Oh no, that whole thing was muted. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, the whole thing was muted. You're right. I'm sorry. Okay, so here's the deal. I muted myself. I apologize, and I muted so I wouldn't get background echoes and stuff like that. But let me go back to what I was saying the whole time. So sorry about that fail on my part. But we'll go back to a camera here real quick. This is what I want to do. I want to show a camera, and then we'll show the videos. So let's do Gaither Mountain. Yeah, Gaither Mountain. See how it's not as strong? It's kind of subsiding a little bit, and that's for good reason. So we'll come back to here. So again, I'm going to repeat everything that I went through. So this is essentially the plasma cloud that's being released from the sun. Make sure it's on there. We're good. And this is like, imagine you're spraying wasp spray onto someone. So when you're spraying, not onto someone, but on wasp. So you are the sun, you're spraying something. And then this right here is what's called a coronal mass ejection. It's plasma that's charged, that's hitting the earth. And then that impacts the Earth's magnetic field, which is exactly what happened. But as you'll see, there's another one on the way. There's actually 3 of those CMEs because we go back to this map right here and you'll see 1, 2, 3. So 3 of those explosions released and hurled a CME. The last one, which was an X5 solar flare, actually produced a very intense coronal mass ejection. And you can see it right here briefly on the cactus sensor. So watch this as I put this into motion here. Let's see if this plays. So this is come on. Let me go back to it. Take a look, see if it loads. I guess it's not loading now. You don't want to load. All right, that's fine. Don't load. Okay, going back to this. This is a forecast of when these CMEs are supposed to hit. So there's the first one. Second one could impact, or it was totally cannibalized, meaning the other one swallowed it up. And then you've got that third one. Now, personally, this is just a forecast where it's directed, but it could be directed and clip the Earth. I personally think tonight and into early tomorrow morning is your best chance of seeing the northern lights. So let me refresh this. And notice how it's positive again, but that doesn't mean it can't drop negative. But this is definitely a negative magnetic field right here in the red, and that's the BZ that's negative. That's where you want it negative the most time. Let me see if this is gonna play again. I don't know why that's not showing up now. I had it, and now you're not playing. Let me refresh this. Maybe it changed. Okay, yeah, people are blowing up the site. I'm still not going. All right, well, that's fine. So this is the current auroral oval. We'll click on this, and this is why we knew in the middle of the newscast tonight that things were looking pretty positive. So KP index, we're going to take a look at that as well. So if we go back to our space weather, and we go here, it only shows a 3. But the only reason it shows a 3 is because this is 3-hour data. So this is behind. This is way behind. But if we go to space weather, a good site that I personally like a lot because it kind of highlights all these things, Space Weather Live. If we come down here and go to auroral activity, see it says G2, but this is not. This is also out of date. But it's probably a G2 now. So, okay, let's go back to auroral activity, the KP index. This is the current KP index. And again, it's really low. This is what was observed. Okay, so it has the latest one at an 8. And that's a good forecast because they were only going for 7. And on my KP index, I put an 8. In fact, I'll show you right here. Yeah, still you can still see it. You can still see those reddish hues. Not quite as bright as it was, but that was my forecast for Wednesday, basically in the early morning hours. Wow. So a lot of lagging data. So let's go through some of these cameras again. And I think my wife just texted too, but let's start off with Boonville. No, let's do Posey Mountain. So there's Posey Mountain. Look at that greenish aura. Yeah. Can you see the northern lights right now? Look to the north. Still showing up. So this is the reverberating effects of that. That is very prominent. Whitney Mountain Lodge, terrible. Not a good camera. Gravit is too dark. Gaither Mountain, you can still see that reddish hue. Huntsville, yeah, now you can really see it from Huntsville. Wow. Nice. Thank you so much. Whoa, did you see that green? Look at the green popping again. There it goes. Oh, it's popping in real time. So it looks like it's going back negative again. Well, you got to remember, we're in mid-latitudes. We're in latitude 36. So for us, that's pretty darn intense. Did you see that green? That popped really quick. So this will probably only last, I think, into the early morning hours. And I think the rest of the time we're not going to see anything. This is your opportunity to see the northern lights right now. There it is from the river valley, not as prominent, not as well seen. Our Lincoln WeatherBug Network camera, that's pretty strong for Lincoln. Oh, yeah, that's a good question. So it's actually where the oxygen molecules are being excited in the atmosphere. So I've actually got a graphic for this here. So check this out. So this is a little more of an explanation, but we'll go through this and take a look at this. So this is essentially what's happening with the aurora borealis. There's the Earth's magnetic field. It's not a perfect representation. I've been trying to adjust and alter this graphic, but remember, these magnetic fields snap back essentially and then get connected back here. It doesn't show that, but as those charged protons and electrons are emitted from the sun, they start to spread out, and then you can see them going into the poles, and so they enter the Earth's atmosphere. Now, this is what you were asking about. What are the different colors? So the electrons colliding with various molecules in the atmosphere is what excites them, and the collisions cause varying colors depending on the heights. So you've got red auroras that are really high up, above 200 kilometers. Those are oxygen molecules. Blue auroras, which we're not seeing as much, which are kind of tough to see. You've got, let's see here, looks like 100 to 200 kilometers up, and those are nitrogen molecules. Green auroras are oxygen molecules that are lower in the atmosphere, and then pink are the nitrogen molecules that are below 100 kilometers. So it's altitude levels that cause it, oxygen and nitrogen. So those are the different types of categories. Now, keep in mind that it's easier to see green and red auroras because they're higher up and they're farther away. So if we go back to our WeatherBug cameras and we'll look at, again, Posey Mountain. Man, that is a great green aurora. See, notice how the green aurora is lower to the horizon. That's because it's not as high up. The red auroras are above 200 kilometers and different molecules reacting. Yep. Now, what is positive and negative, which you might have been asking about, CH, is essentially the sunspot. So the sunspot, if we go here, we'll take a look back at this and bring up these weather graphics. In the meantime, I'm going to keep the aurora up. That's too small. Can't see that. There we go. We'll keep the aurora up because things are all ultimately changing all the time. And we'll look at that KP index again. But going back to here, I'm going to close this, and this is a representation of the Earth's magnetic, the sun's magnetic field at those sunspots. So whenever you have bright reds and bright blues, when those two are right next to each other, that tells you that there are opportunity for explosions, such as solar flares. This sunspot has been very active. There's been a filament region that's been running through the sun, as I saw with Dr. Tamitha Skov. Also, too, the red and orange colors represent southward pointing magnetic fields. Those are the ones that really impact our Earth the most. And then you have the blue, which are northward pointing. So that kind of gives you an idea, and that's called the magnetogram, and that shows you those sunspots. So really, really cool there. But it's those sunspots. So if we come back here and look at the GOES, I've got so many things open. Let's go back here and let's look at the, see the BZ is north, but it must be dropping south again. It's got to be. So if we look, there it is going south again, and maybe even more. So let me zoom in on this area. See, there it was. Another thing too to note is that the speed of the solar wind was pretty fast, 700 kilometers per second. But what you're essentially wanting to know, if there's the potential for northern lights, is the BZ. When that gets really negative, that's when you have that opportunity. Let me see if I can play this again. It just doesn't want to play that. KP index hit 8.
It's
Yeah.
in Louisiana.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's like,
Look at us.
good night.
Posey Mountain.
Yeah, I figured if they're seeing it.
Oh, we are definitely seeing. Look at Harrison Gaither Mountain wasn't quite as well seen, but here's
to
the,
red.
yeah. Oh, it's incredible. Yeah.
I was like, that far south?
Yep. That's what we were saying.
Oh, it was like a wee hours in the morning thing.
No, tonight. It came in a lot quicker than expected, which is nice.
Nothing overwhelmed. I saw some greens. What's your strongest one?
Well, it subsided a lot from now, but I'll show you my strongest here. We can go back to where it was really awesome. So here's what's cool about this, guys, is that while we're live streaming.
Oh, thanks for the heads up.
Yeah.
I should have known the reds were on in the room.
Oh yeah, we got it streaming here. Let me go back to this graphic. We'll take a look at the green hue. Now here's what I want to show you is that we can time lapse this. And the best one was Gaither Mountain. Posey might be the best too. Watch this, Doug. You're going to love this. So we can go through and we can look at how this evolves. And this is where the solar storm was really at its peak. Now I'm going to go to 64. Now watch this, guys. Stand by. Okay, we're going to bring this up on our weather graphics. So here we go. Watch it. This is a time lapse of it. Ready? Oh, is that cool or what? Man,
you see it's dancing.
You can see it dance, and you can see the greens dance as well. Yeah, and it pulses up. You see how it pulses up? It's not just a constant thing. That's pretty cool. But you can also see it starting to subside. There was a little bit of a flare at the last one. And then you can see it how it's subsiding. But here's the deal. We've got more energy that could be coming in, and this can change at any time. Yeah. Yeah, that's okay.
Bad.
That's all right. Bad ace.
Bad to the bone.
All right, ready? That is cool. The purple is prominent in the northern Oklahoma sky. Cool. So it has subsided a little bit, and if you're in a bigger city, you're not going to be able to see that at all as much. So heads up on that. This is, by the way, Arkansas. We're in northwest Arkansas, and that's pretty incredible.
There's a couple of
Did we get some?
there, pulsing.
Yeah, it's pulsing big time. Tag me in that when you do that. Seeing them without a camera shows up pink in the camera lens. Yeah. So how is this solar storm starting to subside? Well, we'll take a look here, and we'll go back to our auroral oval.
Is it still traditionally just called like Northern Lights for the crude reference? Or
Yeah.
Got a specific.
Aurora borealis is the name of it. Aurora borealis means northern lights, and then you have aurora australis, which is the southern lights. There's Lincoln. Lincoln is a good one too. I think I was recording that as well. Yeah, this is aurora borealis. Oh, look at that one. Oh, see, this is when after the 7 o'clock newscast was happening, I was like, oh my gosh, you can see it. Check out this time lapse here. This is from Lincoln. Look at that one. Look at those red pillars. So the red pillars are oxygen molecules that are over 200 kilometers up in the air. Wow. That is incredible. I love that. Yeah. That's one of the best sightings. That does rival. It's not quite as strong because Rogers, you can see it almost directly overhead, which is extremely rare to see that. So there's a potential that next CME that's coming in could impact this Earth's magnetic field even more, but I'm not necessarily sold on it happening. And I think this first bout is going to be the strongest. So the aurora forecast is still cranking up, but let's look at this real time. See, it looks like it's starting to stabilize a little bit, and that kind of concerns me. Also, too, the speed has decreased. I don't see the shock. See, if you look at when the initial shock comes in, that's when it's at its strongest. So check this out. Here is the initial shock. Right here. This is when it hit. Just before 6 o'clock in the evening. So we're talking around 5:30, which is why I was talking about it so much in the weathercast, even though I only had like seconds to talk about it. Very, very impressive. If we come back here, we can look at this. And let's look at ACE. ACE will show you the BZ going negative right here. Where is it? Yeah, you can see the negative BZ right there. Here's the speed. You can see how the speed's decreasing. That, I don't like that image. That's from ACE, and then this is from Discover. Discover's obviously a lot more high definition. If I come over here and I go to series, and then I go, I go to cancel, I go to options. Let me make this a line and a marker, both. So you can really see that. We'll go over. So it's that negative magnetic field that really causes it. I'll go to line. There you go. Now you can see the line instead of the marker. So see how this right here subsided? It dipped back down. That caused the greenish flares to pop back up. Want to see something, Gabby? Yeah. Yep. Definitely live. You're not, you're kind of on. But watch this here. So I'm going to show you a time lapse again of this. So this is from Link. We got several of these recorded. Watch this. This is from Lincoln.
Is this visible to the eye, though?
It was. It was. It's not anymore, but look at that. That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's visible to the eye.
Cool.
It was. And this was about 7:40, 7:45. I don't think it's going to be there at 9 p.m. unless that other solar flare hits. So I think this was it. This was the time. It was a lot earlier than expected. It's not done in terms of the next couple of days because there's another piece of energy that's moving in, another coronal mass ejection, if you will.
Do you want extra time?
Yes, please. Yeah. Yeah. So I think that G4 is happening right now. I'm not sold, like I said, that G5. I mean, we're in G4 geomagnetic storm capability right now. I mean, that's where we're at. But I don't know how those other solar flares and the coronal mass ejections are going to do it. Remember, we look at this. This is just the model forecast. Looks like the first wave is definitely the most significant. But we do know that an X-class solar flare was pretty stout. And again, if we go to this and take a look, I'll show you what I'm talking about. It's this right here. These 3 explosions. The first one we got was this one, and then this one. This one might have caught up. So pretty cool.
Yes.
Did you guys get to see it?
Yes, at the very, very beginning, and then it began to fade out.
You know why? That's because the BZ has gone back to positive. Look,
Oh, it has?
leveled out. Yep,
So
it was right at this time, and it's a little bit of a delayed feedback, so it takes a
Yeah.
while. It doesn't happen instantly. But wait till you see some of these time lapses that I got. Oh, I got some
I know
incredible.
PG Telco is looking great.
Check this out, man. You're gonna love it. You're gonna freak out. This is amazing. Watch
Oh,
this.
wow.
Watch this.
Yep.
Look at this. Yeah, and watch the green come and go too. Did you see the green at all or no?
Very faintly.
Very
yes,
faint.
Very, very faintly.
But your camera probably took some good photos, didn't it?
Yes. Well, first, let me show you this picture. One of my friends from Oklahoma.
Oh
Norman
wow,
sent.
yeah.
And then
That's a
let me go-
longer exposure, isn't
Yeah,
it? Yeah.
I tried going for the longer exposure. The first photo I took, I don't think you can see right here. Again, it's very, very, there is a little bit of a green there.
Oh, Gaither Mountain is really good too. ATC Gaither Mountain. I got that.
Small glimpse of the green. Oh, there's some of
Oh yeah, you got it. Yeah. Isn't that a great spot though?
That is
It's like the best spot, man. Was anybody else up there or no? Tons of people? Yeah.
There was a few people that was up there.
Okay.
They're in their cars. They had like the sunroof open. They were just.
So this is when at 7 o'clock. This is when the it started to show up. I was like, oh my gosh, you can see it. Like,
I was telling her it was funny because the final forecast basically didn't happen.
yeah,
This is the photo I took. You could see a little bit. of
yeah,
green there.
that's awesome. Yeah, that kind of subsided.
It really did.
So are we gonna? So is it coming pulses?
Comes in pulses. I don't know how when the next pulse comes in. It's usually the initial shock. Look at this. The way that it's almost like lights, man. It's almost like literally.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Watch this one.
Green.
Whoop, 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 dancing a couple of times.
So beautiful.
But then watch it subside at the end. See, it's starting to go away now.
Yeah, that's what we ended up seeing.
Yep.
I'm like, oh.
It's starting to go away.
But it looked
Oh, there it pulses back up again. So maybe, there's still hope. There's still hope.
I will say it's cold.
I will say this. I wonder if my pilot friend sent some
It's
pictures.
cold.
Yeah, you could see it with a naked eye, no doubt.
Oh yeah.
On the drive there, some of the city we saw it.
Brian Emfinger got a good one. Yeah. He's sending me some photos. Oh, ho, 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 ho.
Wow.
Look at that.
Wow.
That's from my pilot friend. Wow. I'm going to share that one.
That's beautiful.
On the way home. He got it. That is awesome. Okay, so let me ask you this. You guys have any questions? Because everybody's learning, including myself. But do you have any questions about the Northern Lights, how they work, what causes them? I showed them this animation, showed them this video. If you're just tuning in again, I'll throw it up now. But here's this animation showing essentially what happens with a solar storm. So you get this Earth's magnetic field that starts getting twisted and compressed, kind of like a slinky. So we can see it right here. I am going to take this and turn the volume down a little bit so it's not so loud. So those magnetic fields start getting stretched out. And then essentially what happens is get bent and twist. This doesn't show it spinning and twisting as much. But when it does, it'll snap. And then that releases. That is the solar flare and the coronal mass ejection that's heading towards the Earth. So as that plasma cloud that has a bunch of charged protons, neutrons, just a charged particles, and look, and the size of the Earth is like our cursor. So that puts it into perspective. Yeah. So here it is coming into the Earth. So that's what was happening, and that's when that BZ goes negative. And then you're going to see as it starts bending back, it'll snap. But look at how, so this shows you right here now, there's only one side that's kind of protecting the Earth. And if another solar flare that has a CME comes and hits it, which is possible, then this would be even broke down even more. And then we're starting to get pretty serious. And we get G5, geomagnetic storm. And here's what was interesting. I thought this was super interesting. I don't know as much about space weather as obviously astronomers, solar scientists, and stuff like that. But we knew this was going to be a pretty significant one because it was talking about a ground level event is underway. And I'll read some of this here. An X-class, an X5 solar flare from sunspot 4274, which we showed you, hurled a bunch of energetic protons towards the Earth. Some of the particles are so powerful they're penetrating the atmosphere all the way to the ground. So this is called a ground level event, a GLE. And GLEs are extremely rare. They only happen about once or twice every solar cycle. And a solar cycle happens for 11 years. This one is comparable to the GLE of December 13, 2006, which makes it a 20-year event. So we knew this is a pretty intense solar storm coming. He talks about this. He says, analysis of today's GLE will help us prepare for larger events. But this is interesting that if you're above 30,000 feet, you can get peppered with quite a bit of radiation, 1,000-fold increase in radiation. Also, too, this shows the coronagraph, how it's got all of these particles surrounding around it. That is the essentially charged particles that hit the coronagraph, SOHO's coronagraph, which causes all of that stuff. And it says right here that it's basically fogging up the camera, which is basically charged particles. So think of like extreme static electricity, if you will. Let's see if this is subsided. Still has the same thing, but let's go ahead and see where we're at for our real-time solar wind information. So still a little bit negative, but definitely subsiding. Speed is also decreased. I don't see any other signs. Look at the density increase here. It looks like that first wave has come through. Is there another wave coming in? No one really knows, to be honest with you. That did not want to animate. Yeah, that went bye-bye. But here's what we can do. We can look at this and we can come back to, so this is SOHO. Look at that coronal hole, man. That's pretty massive. Anyways, I'm looking for, okay, so space weather, come back here. Yeah, look at the planetary field is going, it's going north now. But when it was way south, that's when it happened. See, this still doesn't even show up as a K8, but it was a K8. It was like an 8.1 or 8.2. So you'll see that. And we're not at a G4 anymore. So the current solar, yeah, there you go. You get to see it right there. K8. That's what was observed.
You were right on.
I was.
You were right
I
on.
was. Yep. Real-time auroral activity. Here's a look at, this is really cool. This shows you the speed of the plasma cloud. This will show you down here the density. And then this will show you that BZ, the BT, the overall. Look at that when it got really high. And then you look at the direction. This is where it was negative, and this is where your solar storm was really cranking up. Notice how it's a delay too, because we started seeing it, what, about 7:30? So about 7:30. So that would be right about here. So all this was going on, and that's why it kind of flared up a couple of times and then disappeared, and then it dropped off, and then still kind of dropping down and reverberating. But this is the worst. This is the initial shock. And remember, I was telling you, when it goes real positive and then real negative, real positive, real negative, it's like it means it's something's hitting the fan, literally. So yeah. All right, guys. Well, I think that does it, because I think we're done with this solar storm for now. Now, there could be more. Let's take a look here. Still got the greenish hues. Seeing the red tinge in the Bentonville. When we got the red, I took a picture. Yeah, ground level event. Yeah, it doesn't on our camera, though. Our camera is older. Posey Mountain, though, is incredible. Still going.
Beautiful.
It's those.
Yeah.
So those cameras, they're pretty good with low light. So that works. It might be a little bit more than what you're seeing, but that's pretty incredible. So this is what I love about this camera system, is that I'm just going to go to. Wow, you do not see that every day, man. Watch this. We're going to go with, let's do a 9-panel. And I'm going to bring this up. We'll bring this up on the screen here in just a second. Oh, that is just incredible. Lincoln. Like what? Not every day that you see that, for sure. Rogers. You can see the reddish hue. It's kind of definitely going away, though.
Yeah.
A lot of lights in Rogers.
Well, I wonder if Harbor High School can see it. Let's see. Presets. Look, no, wait a minute. Refresh presets. It should work. Yep, there they go. Oh, yeah, you can see it. You can see it.
It showed up and then it kind of went away.
Yeah, it was a camera that was kind of adjusting a little bit. Let's look at Waldron. You can see it from Waldron even. Kisser FM. Somewhat. Not as bright. Wow. Oh, let me do Mount Magazine here. And let me go north. Let me see what that looks like. North view. Oh, wow.
Look at Posey. It really came back.
Wait till you see Mount Magazine. Holy smokeronies. Oh, yeah, it's coming back.
Yeah, look at
It's going back. So it's going back negative. It's ramping back up again. Well, you can go back out.
It was cold.
I know. It is cold.
We'll have to do it from like the car. Deal.
Look at that.
Like actually?
Yeah, it's going back. Look at that. That is incredible.
Do you
So
want to?
you can. Yeah, it looks like it's going back. It looks like it's reverberating again.
Your sandwich here. Baby, you can start.
That's the thing. It's like trying to hit that perfect. Okay, this is what I wanted to show you guys.
Look at that.
This is insane, but I'm going to make this full screen.
We'll be back.
This is insane. Look how many cameras are seeing the northern light. Oh, it is really going nuts. Yeah. Yeah, get out there. So it's cranking back up. So it reverberates and then it kind of comes back. So this might be the strongest. This is what I wanted to show you. Look at this. Look how many cameras can see that. Whoa. I'm still recording all those. Wow, look at that. That is insanity. So Boonville obviously is not going to get a view because it's not. You don't have a good north view, but you can still see it. You can still see it all the way down in Boonville, all the way down. So stand by. I am going to try to go outside and see if I can see it from here. Yeah, it is really cranking up again. So there must be even more of a delay than I'm expecting. Unless it's just going negative. Oh, it's going negative again. It's going strong negative. See, there it is. It'll bounce back and forth, and you just never know. Whoa, that is super bright. Okay, guys, here's what I'm going to do real quick. Real fast, I'm going to bring up this. See, here's the negative that it's going down. You can see it right there. Starting to go back negative, negative 23, and it's holding at that. So those are already excited. Bring that back up. Well, it depends on where you're at, Carla. I know it's gorgeous and it can be dangerous for power grids, but not necessarily this far south. It's typically northern latitudes, Canada, but they have abilities now to adjust power grids where you don't get the power knocked out. Whoa. Oh, I believe it. If you're in Canada, as long as you don't have clouds, incredible sight right now. Look at all those cameras. Let's bring up the best one here. Mount Magazine. My goodness, look at that. That is intense. Okay, guys, I'm going to be right back. Stand by. All right, folks, I'm back here. Yeah, it's not as impressive when you're looking at it in person. Nevertheless, though, it still is impressive on these cameras. Wow. If you're wondering about the aurora, how often it happens in a solar cycle, which is 11 years, I'm going to say typically maybe 3 times in 11 years. As if we think about it, we had it May 10th, 2024. We had it slightly on October 24th, 2024. Then we had it in 2011. So it's about maybe 3 times in 11 years, to be honest with you. It's quite rare. And the fact that we're seeing this, I've never seen, even with the October 24th and the May 10th event that happened in 2024, not even anywhere close as amazing on the cameras. So look at that from Lincoln. My goodness. Now, remember, the camera shows a little better than the eyesight, but if you're in a dark spot, that's better. So you'll be able to see it a lot more. It's almost so bright you can see the camera ring, the reflection of the camera. That's incredible. Let's look at Kisser. See, Kisser is not as strong. You can see the reddish hue, but also a little bit of cloud cover rolling in. Huntsville, boy, you can really see Huntsville. Good. I'm so glad you saw it. Love it. This is brighter than the first time. So the BZ is not as strong. That's why I'm wondering, Davion, if essentially, as we look at it, it started to bounce back again, went back into the positive. It only got down to negative 23. The question is there another event on the way? Potentially. We know that there's another solar flare and then coronal mass ejection that was released, but we just don't know what time that's going to hit. We don't know if these two are combined together. And it could be a cannibal CME. So stay tuned. 3Z, it looks like something else hits, but you don't know. You just don't know. But we'll be watching. I'll keep you updated. We'll talk about it on the news. That's pretty incredible. Some of those cameras were pretty awesome to see. Yeah. It got higher than 50. I know it did get higher than negative 50. You're right. In fact, we'll look at it here and we can look at the whole timing of this. That's when I knew. I was like, oh wow, we're gonna see something here. So there it got down to negative 55 at the start of it. Let me show you here real quick. Bring this up. So here's negative 55 is its peak. And I was like, whoa, that's strong. And then it stayed negative, kind of reverberated a little bit, stayed negative. All this that's shaded is negative. And then you can see the couple of times that it bounced around. Is this my sandwich? Starving. You know, it can be dangerous, Boomer, if you're in a plane. There's no doubt about that. You'll get what's called, radiation exposure, stronger than what you have. Yeah, you've learned a lot about it, I bet, as an aurora chaser. And there's so much more to learn about it, too. I mean, like I said, I don't know everything, not even close. I'm not a solar scientist. I'm a meteorologist. But I have learned a lot from Dr. Tamitha Skov. I've also learned a lot from self-taught and just, trying to predict this better. That's why I had a feeling about tonight. I just had a feeling, even though they were, you could see it from Springfield. Probably even better, to be honest with you. Go outside and look. Now, when you look outside with the naked eye, you'll see a slight reddish tint. But if you take your phone and you hold it up, the camera can see a lot better. Shield's at 40%. So if there's another impact, man, we're going to have some bright auroras, almost like maybe similar to the Carrington event. Yep, the Aurora guy is pretty amazing. You're right. Oh, it was crazy to see from the plane. In fact, stand by here if I could show you something. Oh, yeah, you got it again, Davion? Can you see it? He's on there watching the live stream. Looks like it's starting to subside a little bit. I'm noticing it's not as bright. It's weird how it comes in waves. True, Robert. We don't know, though. Maybe the first one was combined by the second one, you know? The X5 is definitely the biggest impact. There's no doubt about that. But what if it's not totally Earth directed? Because it did release when it wasn't quite pointed directly at the Earth. Now, Dr. Tamitha Skov was talking about how there was a filament that spread all the way around the sun, essentially, and that filament was released with the esports event. So you missed Northern Lights. You see nothing in Rogers. Let's see if you see nothing in Rogers. So we got Rogers. Yeah, nothing in Rogers. You won't see it now. It's gone. You can hold up your camera. You still see a little bit of a reddish hue, but it is definitely subsiding. But what did you miss? Well, you got to see this, Michael Bollinger. I've got a couple of time lapses that I'm still cooking. And I'll show you one of them. Oh. I stopped the recordings. I guess I did. Look at Lincoln. Yeah, it was dropping off and then it picked back up again. I should have just kept it recording. Let me show you what I've got here. So we come here and go to max one full. And so here's a time lapse. That's pretty cool. So that's when it flared up again. We were watching that start to peak. It's amazing how it comes in waves. And now you can start to see it dropping off a little bit. Still see the greenish hues. There's no doubt about that. You can still see that red aura. There's where it really popped. That's when we were getting super excited. And then it dissipates again. Wow, look at this. Is just, you don't see this every day. This puts last year's storm to shame. I'm going to have to agree with that. This is way better than October 24th. It's comparable to what happened on it's comparable to what happened on May 10th. But all right, guys, well, I got to get ready for the show. Here's what I can do, though. I'll mute this for the time being. Well, I don't think there's anything really to look at anymore with these cameras. Yeah, see, we still got pillars. Yeah, it seems to be stronger than May's for sure. Well, and stay tuned. We could have more coming. So I'll be watching and I'll keep an update on that BZ and see where we're at with it. If it goes negative again, because if it does, that's what you want to be looking for. So you can go to spaceweather.com, great site. You click on, I'll show you where to get this stuff. So if we go back to here, you go to spaceweather.com, real simple, load it up. And you see how he's already got pictures. And then you go here, X-class, solar flares. You click right here to discover, and you can see where that BZ is negative. If it goes real far negative, be looking for some awesome colors. And then there's that sunspot that's been responsible for this. And what's cool is you can go back in time and you can look and you can see the sunspot traversing the Earth's the sun's surface. So if we go back here, November 8th, you can see it moving across the sun. November 7th. They were talking about it already. So pretty impressive, and you can get animations and videos and stuff like that. But all right, guys, I got to run. We will talk to you later. I got to get ready for this newscast. And thanks so much for the tons of photos. I'm glad you guys got to see that. That's pretty rare to check out, but pretty awesome to see the Northern Lights as well as we did in Arkansas. Oh yeah, I'm going to share some of those time lapses. They are incredible. All right, take care, guys. God bless. Have a good one, and we'll keep you updated if we've got another solar storm cranking up tonight. Take care, guys. Thanks for watching.